Buddy. I hope that this time it stays more or less, okay. I hope that this time it's gonna stay stable and we won't have any more problems. It seems like for some reason, periodically, my internet, my browser, sorry, my router or Surface, I'm not sure which one, likes to choke my internet and make it about 1/10 of the speed, which then obviously provides massive problems when it comes to trying to stream. But with a quick restart of the internet, then it's okay. With the quick restart of the internet, it should be okay. There we go. Alright, cool. Excellent. Howdy everybody, let's try this one more time, okay? One more time. Welcome everybody, I hope everyone's having an awesome morning. We've got quite a few things to go through today. Unfortunately, that means bringing back all of the... all of the articles I had, but that's okay. And I apologize for all the, like, intense pings, because my bot also has a automatic ping every time I go live, so I went live like 3 times already, so I apologize. Alright, folks. Nonetheless, we did it. We fixed it. We broke the internet, and we put it back together, okay? Welcome back. Thank you. Appreciate it. Now we should be okay. Alright, we should be okay. We did it. We broke the internet, and we put it back together, alright? We did it. That being said, we do have quite the amount of headlines to go through. Well, we've got some headlines to go through, I should say. Jeez, my cat's being... Hey! Okay. Howdy, howdy. Sorry about all the technical difficulties, folks, but it's all good. We're good. We're ready. 9:30 on the dot, and we're ready to start. Let's go. Now, this is a meme article. I thought this is hilarious. For one moment, my kitty cat needs to go out. Alright. So, it's kind of a meme article, but also very, very, very important. Because this might also have ramifications in the future. Back and much better. Thank you, appreciate that. I can't get my head around what a meme is. A meme, well, nowadays a meme is just really a joke, interchangeably I guess. But a meme is like a picture with a caption that's supposed to be funny. For 3 weeks, text internet working in area. Wow. Yikes. Alright. And this is from the National Review. This time I actually checked out the source behind it. This is actually from the National Review, which is a very right-wing kind of publication, which is great. This is excellent. Trump urges, because this means that it's reaching the intended audience. Trump urges Republicans to sit out coming elections. True. I mean, yeah, sure. Do it. Former President Trump is urging Republicans not to vote in the upcoming elections unless the fraud of the 2020 elections is uncovered. Well, I have excellent news. Please. The dear leader is insisting. The dear leader is insisting that you shouldn't vote, and you should show the GOP a lesson and stay home. Yeah, excellent. This is not, I'm not opposed to this. I don't see what could possibly be the problem here. The term was coined by Richard Dawkins, of all people. No. Really? I didn't know about that. Grandpa? Propa Grandpa. I like that username. How's it going? This is reverse logic? Yeah, it is. But it's reaching the right people. Because this is a right-wing publication. So yeah, absolutely. You know what? I agree with Donald Trump. Until you know, the last audit is done for the umpteenth time showing that he lost. I mean, showing that he lost. Until that is done, please show the GOP a lesson and stay home. As the dear leader has clearly stated, it is the single most important thing for Republicans to do. Stay home. I think so. I think he's got a point. If you're mad at the Republican establishment, the rhinos as they call them, if you're mad at the rhinos or whatever it is that they call them nowadays, yeah, just stay home. You know, what's the point? Show them a lesson. Show them that you are committed. You are committed to the dear leader, and show them that without Trump there is no GOP, right? You do that. You do that. Show them by staying home. Show them by staying home, right? Teach them a lesson. I think that this is a valuable lesson the GOP needs to learn in 2022. So please, do go out, or stay home, I should say. Do exactly what the dear leader has stated. As he himself said, it is the single most important things for Republicans to do. Okay? So make sure you take note. If you are a Republican, make sure you take note. Make sure that you take note of the dear leader's words. If we don't solve the presidential election fraud, which didn't happen, by the way, no evidence of fraud, which he continuously to push, despite being 11 months out, despite being audited in various states, despite losing almost every single court case. I think we're at like almost number 70, and it's like just L after L after L, repeatedly shown that there's no real evidence to his claims. He continues to push this dangerous narrative. However, this little part is excellent. My cat just keeps knocking in and out. She keeps knocking on the door to leave. She keeps knocking on the door to come back in. I don't know. Choose a side, kitty cat. Are you gonna stay in or out? and the world can move on without them. True. Proper grandpa. I see you have the, Yoshini. So he thinks that urging all constituents to not vote is going to help the GOP? Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's great. That's a great idea. Oh my goodness, I think we're having the same problems. Dan's kitty, true. Hold on, folks. It seems like it's okay. Okay, let's try this one. Because the internet is supposed to be good. Dropping frames a lot. Yeah, I know. It's a thing that's happening. I think it's a problem with my own laptop, I think. Because like it shouldn't be happening. My speed test here on my phone is working with the same Wi-Fi. Yeah, I don't get it, folks. I don't get it, folks. Well, the only thing that we can do is just kind of... Is it updating drivers in the background? Wait. That's what happened last time. If we have been solar activity, I wonder if they're affecting things. It's quite possible, but, I don't know. I restarted the router and it was great. Wait. You're actually not wrong. Eric, there's actually a, there's actually... I'm not even kidding. There's actually updates in the background. They're not driver updates, but, hold on one second, my cat's crying. Oh. Say hello. Say hello. I'm not kidding about the driver's part. Something might be hogging up the resources. Yeah, well, it seems like, something is definitely not right here, but it's also on... It seems to be, like, on my internet side. Because, like, I test the internet, and I'm not getting... This is the last time I'm gonna try to... all we're gonna do is probably just try to do like an audio stream, I guess. I'll just do something. There's always something sus behind the scenes, true. Yeah, I'm kind of back, but I don't know. I keep trying to test the internet, and it seems like there's nothing really wrong with the actual connection. It's this. Oh well. Alright, so we're gonna do a... Yeah, upload speed should be like 10 times the speed that I'm showing here. Okay. Well, I can't do anything about that except for install updates, and in the meantime, pretend that nothing is happening in the front end. Just pop in your headphones, and we're gonna do news ASMR stream, I guess. Since the audio seems to be okay, we're gonna do news ASMR. Okay, so pop your headphones in. Make sure you got all the good settings up for audio, and away we go. Never mind the screen. Just I guess enjoy audio version of it. Yeah, it's always something sus. Anyways, Republicans will not be voting in 2022 and 2024. Trump is essentially advocating for his base to not show up at the polls, and hopefully that depresses a good amount of turnout, since obviously the Trump base is very critical to the GOP, and in particular the Trump the evangelical side is incredibly crucial for delivering GOP victory. So I think that this might actually even play a factor. Things like this, which came out of nowhere to be honest, do play a factor in what happens in the upcoming election. This is a new variable that is being presented to us, and I think that this might actually affect the way things go. I hope that people listen to Donald Trump. I think he's right. I think that Republicans shouldn't vote in 2022 and 2024. It's the most important thing they can do. Show that rhino establishment. You show them. Trump claims of rigged elections also depressed voter turnout during Georgia Senate runoff on January 5th. Georgians elected 2 Democratic senators as a result, giving the party 50 total Senate seats. President Trump has repeatedly claimed without evidence that Biden lost the election due to the fraudulent voting practices. True. While Trump claimed that he won states of Arizona, Georgia, and Pennsylvania at a rally in Iowa on Saturday, Biden won each of those states. True. Efforts by Trump supporters to prove the former president won in various districts have failed, including an audit in Maricopa County that confirmed Biden's victory for the 4th time, I believe. This would be for the 4th time. Quote, this is Donald Trump's quote, "I'm telling you, the single biggest issue, as bad as the border is, the single biggest issue is the issue that gets the most pull, the most respect, the biggest cheers, is talking about the election fraud of 2020, of the 2020 election." Yeah, of course, says the narcissist, the biggest issue is me. I won. How could I possibly lose? Of course, says the narcissist. And all his followers are literally clapping to this. The former president also compared his actions to Hillary Clinton in 2016. Here's the difference. Hillary Clinton conceded. I never conceded. No reason to concede. Well, concession is not necessary, my friend. It's just, you know, what principled people with integrity do. But, you know. Okay. And it also kind of quashes the idea that continues to be perpetuated, where people are like, oh yeah, well, in 2016 they never conceded him. No, Hillary Clinton absolutely did concede, and she didn't spend 11 months at this point disputing the results of the election. So yeah, thank you for making sure that is abundantly clear, Mr. Trump, the difference. Thank you for making that abundantly clear. So the TLDR of this is very simple. If you trust the deal leader and you do what he says, then yeah, you shouldn't vote. Stay home. Stay home, folks. Stay home. The Twitch gods do not like a difficult truth this morning, but we're back. Thank you. I appreciate that. However, this time I'm not gonna blame it on Twitch. I actually checked your suggestion, and indeed there's a big cumulative update hanging on in the background. I keep testing the internet, the actual Wi-Fi connection itself. Test again. The actual Wi-Fi connection itself is literally not a problem. Yeah, it's literally not a problem. It should be 10 times. It should be 10 times the upload speed that the OBS is telling me that's happening. But of course, it's asking me to restart the system. It's asking me to do all this stuff. Chat, press 1 if I should restart. No, it was really updating? Yeah, it was really updating. However, obviously it has nothing to do with drivers, because how could it? But you're right. There are updates that hog resources, and that's probably what's choking this. Because I just ran another speed test here. One part of me, very small part of me, when Trump started, really wanted to believe that things would be better in some way, in some strange, unbelievable way. I was wrong. Trump telling Republicans to stay home is the best thing I've heard him say. I've heard him ever say. Yeah, it kind of worked in 2020, and hey, I mean, maybe this is another factor we need to consider in the midterms. This is definitely a factor we need to consider in the midterms. This is a factor that wasn't in play until now, so that's why I'm talking about it. Is it the brainworms? Yeah, it probably knew that I was talking about Trump. 1 to restart. Okay. Has anyone tried Windows 11 yet? I'm thinking about doing the right thing. I'm thinking about sailing the high seas, as one would say, and downloading it on my laptop. I think that honestly, it's probably fine. If you have a laptop, it should automatically do it eventually, Dr. Dragon Rider. It should be free. Progressive ammo with a 1. Okay. Windows 11, no experiencing. I'm using Linux Mint. Nice. Linux Mint is great. Most people are here for your voice anyways. Alright, so do you all just want to just hang here? And bear with me? Hold on, maybe I can make it... Well, first of all, I appreciate that, Dr. Dragon Rider. I want the GOP to put up a candidate to fight Trump and say that Trump isn't, and say Trump is an independent. Well, they're not going to fight him. As long as he controls the voter base. Maybe your computer is a newly converted right wing. True. Yeah, it's sabotaging stream. I see you. I'm on to you. I'm on to you, computer. Okay? I am on to you. Well, since it's mostly articles, I think we can just fight through it for today. Okay. Oh, you know what I can do also? I can also limit and squash the amount of kilobytes per second, so we can make a slightly more stable stream. This way, is this better? Does this fix it? Just do it like this. I'm good with it. I'm fine with working in the background. For me, the video feed is less important for others. True. In my opinion, I always like the... Imagine telling your base to not vote in 2022. What an ally to the GOP? Oops. I don't know. The voice and chat are fine. I don't mind the broken video. Okay, cool. Imagine telling your base not to vote. Yeah, it's great. It's excellent. For the last 20 years, the first GOP presidential primary would knock out the perceived leader out of the race. If Trump runs again, I have no idea how that will work. Yeah, I think that honestly, the Trump GOP, the GOP is pretty much beholden to Trump. So I think that it's pretty much a set deal that whatever it is that he is, if he decides to run, he's going to be the nominee. Pretty much, I think. Yeah, I think he just count as still running for a second term. Yeah. Yeah, he could run. He could absolutely run. Alright, chat, is that okay? Is the stream okay? At least a little bit better? Not perfect, but at least it's okay? Can you guys handle this? Can you guys bear with this? Can bear with me? Alright, this is not an insult. I mostly listen to your salubrious voice and think through what you're putting out. True, thank you, I appreciate that. I don't think that would be an insult. The Republicans he's pissed off at would be still in Congress if he ends in 24, so we're just gonna get more trash talk and deep state for another 4 years. Yep. Trump has legal and health issues. Why doesn't he lose his voice before now? Because he's good at making a mess of things, and he's good at putting himself in the public eye, whether people want it, will like it or not. Anyways, TLDR. This is great. This is fantastic. I think those that are, I think that those who want to follow the dear leader should absolutely do. While audio is good, I'm the only one listening, not watching crowds, so it's working for me. Great, excellent, cool. Alright, we'll deal with it. So, yeah, this is great, excellent. If you support the dear leader, then stay home. And if you're thinking that the GOP doesn't represent you because they are being taken over by the Trump kind of MAGA crowd, you should abandon the GOP. Republicans are rallying around Senator Joe Manchin and Kristen Sinema, the not centrist, the conservative Democrats who are in a fierce battle with progressives in their party. I don't know, like, why it has to be done in such a way. Like, there's no serious battle here, okay? It's Biden's agenda and the conservative side, that's it. That's literally it. It sucks because Joe Biden quitting would be because he's too old, but Kamala would get blown away. He's the person who would help is Bernie, and he's equally old but very salient and coherent. We have Kamala as a grenade on the party. Yeah, I don't think Bernie's gonna run again. Wait, hold on. Tarus? You know that a primary is not an indication that as a whole country, right? A primary, which he ran, was for the Democratic Party, not as a whole country. That's not really a logical statement. Bernie and Elizabeth Warren can't run anymore. They are senators anyways. Well, I mean, Elizabeth Warren might. I don't know if she's going to run again. She doesn't have a national profile either. I don't think she can win a national election. Democratic Party does not put $350 million to fund Twitch candidates. What? Can I get some of that? Bernie would have won if the establishment didn't force anyone to drop out. Honestly, he was way ahead. Then Buttigieg, Klobuchar all quit right when Bernie was the front runner. Yeah, so like the primary is not an indication of how like national politics would have played out or the national election would have played out. I honestly think almost any Democratic candidate would have won. It's logical though, if he can't even make it out of the primary that is more favorable to him, how can he win the general? Because the general election isn't indicative of the one party? Wait, what? Wait, hold on. So you're saying that if a person can't even make it out of a primary, so then by that logic, how did Joe Biden win? Joe Biden couldn't even win like the first couple of states. Warren lost her home state and demonstrated how beholden she is to the healthcare lobby. She shouldn't run again. Yeah, and besides, I don't know if she has like a I'm not sure she has like an overall like national profile to like really win a national election. Biden was a massive loser. But he won the primary. Yeah, why? Okay, why? Hot take. I don't believe the candidate choice matters that much in electoral success. Really? Do you think so? I think if you were to drop a list of all things that impact electoral success, candidate would be quite a bit lower than other factors. Hell, I would even say the weather on election day matters more. No way. Do you think so? Trump demagoguery has suppressed the profile of all competitors, whichever party they're in. I don't know about that. Biden bribed everybody out of the race right before Super Tuesday. I don't know about bribed. I don't know about bribed, but here's what I know, and here's how the chain of events happened. Right before Super Tuesday, a lot of more moderate, kind of like, I guess what you would call the more corporatist side Dems decided to drop out and endorse Joe Biden and specifically push him over the edge to in Super Tuesday, and then we had a lot of different significant factors, especially in South Carolina, that kind of like put the nail in the coffin, including the fact that a lot of open primaries, considering the fact that South Carolina is an open primary, Republicans also participated and had an op going on with that one, so who knows. The results say I'm right, though. He lost the primaries in 2016 and 2020. I feel like Bernie, but I like Bernie, but come on, at some point we gotta stop with the excuses for Bernie. It's not excuses, I'm just telling you the chain of events. At this point, I understand that it's irrelevant, considering the fact that I don't think he's gonna run anymore. However, it is important to note that there was a couple of guys who tabulated potential impacts on the 2000 election, and floods and droughts happened in the month before the vote, and they said it cost Gore millions of votes because likely Dems stayed home in protest of Clinton's perceived inaction. Wow. Okay, so I see where you're going with this. Yeah, I suppose, but I think like candidacy, does matter. I mean, like if you run somebody like Hillary Clinton, who's like pretty much universally not liked, I think that had a huge factor. I don't know. I guess it depends on the election, really, the election cycle. Because if I don't know. I guess it depends on the election cycle. Like Obama had like this great ability to get people moving, right? Get people to go out. To get people to go out and vote, right? And so I don't know. I think the candidacy kind of, I don't know. Maybe you're right, James. I'll have to look like into it. But maybe you're right. Maybe you have a point there. But that happens in every primary. People jump out on the RNC to favor a certain person. Really? Really? The RNC coalesced and made a coordinated effort to make sure that one candidate in specific won? Really? That's what happened? Really? You're really gonna tell me that the RNC coordinated and just happened? It just complete coincidence. They all dropped out and coalesced behind a certain candidate. You're really telling me that? You're really telling me that's what happened? Maybe one or two drop out of the bunch of the RNC candidates, but the idea that all of them dropped out and coalesced behind like a more, I guess what you would call more corporate or more milquetoast or more moderate Republican to beat Trump. That didn't happen, okay? That didn't happen. Hey, Chai Bureaucrat, how's it going? Yeah, I don't remember that happening because it didn't. Because it didn't. There was no like coordinated effort between like the more corporatist side or the more establishment side from the RNC coalescing together to stop a certain candidate. That just didn't happen. Okay? Anyways, yeah, I really did. And it happens in primaries for both parties, from the general down to the local elections. This is new or surprising. This is the obvious result of a two-party system. Sure, but so you can see the fact that it did happen. I think the RNC had a lot to do with Nina Turner losing her Congress run. What? So you're conceding that it did happen. Coalescing behind like a Voltron kind of deal to stop a single candidate. That wait, hold on. Hold on. Chat. Anybody here that's still here? Can somebody point me to where the RNC coordinated to make sure that some type of populist or some type of like what they would consider, okay, I'm using their perspective, what they would consider an anti-establishment candidate. Please point me to where a situation happened with the RNC where a bunch of the more milquetoast or the more corporatist side or corporatist wing coalesced together to stop a more populist or perceived populist candidate in the RNC. Chat, tell me, and do your homework. Tell me when and where that happened. Ethan, Dara. Graham and a bunch of Republicans went on TV to call Trump a bigot and a disgrace. Yeah, and then what ended up happening? The moment he became president. Yeah, the moment he became president, that's when they lined up behind him. But not before. Not before. Excuse me. The moment he won the primary, or the moment he was basically set to win the primary, the moment that happened is the moment they lined up behind him. Not a second before. Why am I a troll for stating perspective? I'm politically aligned with you guys, yet I'm a troll. I don't know if you're a troll or just simply like forgetting the lessons of 2016 or 2020. It's just a matter of like, the reality is you're right, Bernie lost, but there is a reason why that happened. I'm not convinced is because like as a whole the country rejected him based on a primary election, right? Like that's my issue with that statement. Anyways, Republicans are rallying around Senator Joe Manchin and Kyrsten Sinema, the conservative Democrats who are in a fierce battle with progressives in their party. Senate Republicans, despite having many policy differences with Manchin and Sinema, are singing their praises, knowing that they will be key to stopping or slowing President Biden's ambitious agenda. Hey folks, you want to know what's really ambitious? You want to know what's really ambitious? Having 2 years of community college. Wow, very ambitious. Very transformative. It's not like every other country has already figured this one out. I do know about presidential elections. The RNC backed the corporate Dems and ran negative ads against Nina. Oh, okay, I see what you're saying. I think you're confusing with excuses to explanations. Kevin McCarthy introduced a bill for fungus vaccines. Wait, what? Anyways. Yeah, the ambitious agenda of trying to put, like, basic things into play. The ambitious agenda of trying to get paid maternity leave. The ambitious agenda of trying to, the ambitious agenda of trying to, get child tax credits. The ambitious agenda of attempting to maybe, quite possibly, put something on the board when it comes to addressing climate change. Ah, yes, very ambitious. Very ambitious. The ambitious agenda of expanding Medicare for seniors. Super ambitious. But ADT, are you suggesting give the public what they want? Authority figures don't work that way. I mean, yeah. I actually do advocate for giving what is democratically asked for, yes. Congressional healthcare for all, basically. Hey, Memo. Sorry about the stream, folks. Sorry about the quality of the stream today. We are fighting through some weird problems that happen, apparently, but we're trying to make it work. And the living wage, how unpractical. Like, not even irked. Not even, because there's nothing regarding a living... Okay. My lights just flickered, but, you know, things are very normal today. Things are very normal today. Anyways, the living wage isn't even part of the Build Back Better program. I agree with the explanation, but at the end of the day, the major donor is one person. It's still up to the individual Americans to show up and vote, of course. The media and corporate trying to influence the wins, but a lot of Dem supporters didn't even bother showing up to vote for him. Biden supporters did. Are we supposed to give Bernie a participation trophy? No, he clearly... I'm not saying he won. I'm saying the fact that... I'm saying the fact that there's reasons for this to happen. And, well, I agree with you. There are arguments, and we need to make sure that when candidates like this show up, we need to show up. Yes, absolutely, I agree. We do need to show up. When candidates like this pop up, okay, we need to show up, and I'll give you that, true. Trump won despite the entire RNC established against him because his base showed up. Why didn't Bernie's? Good question. I'm not disputing the fact that we need to show up when candidates like this appear, okay? And we need to be aware when they appear to make sure that we're there. Sure. The DNC is against Bernie, I thought. The DNC is definitely against Bernie. Or was, I guess. So, anyways, yeah, sure. If your argument is we need to show up, then I agree with you. If your argument is if we see a progressive candidate who has like the type of integrity and the type of politics that Bernie has, then yeah, we should show up. Yeah, sure. Cool. This is not a controversial take. If we see a candidate like this in our local, state, or federal levels, yeah, be aware and show up. Yeah, true. Okay. Senate Republicans, despite having many policy differences with Manchin and Sinema, are singing their praises, knowing that they will be the key to stopping or slowing President Biden's ambitious agenda. Both Democrats would be top Republican targets in 2024 if they decide to run for re-election, and GOP leaders are usually loath to offer praise to such lawmakers. But in a 50-50 Senate, where Manchin and Sinema can make or break Biden's policy goal, many Republicans hail them as saviors. I tell them, I think they're saving the country. I think they're saving their country. I know they're getting beat up by their leadership and their base and everything else, but I think that they're in a really good place right now because they're in a position to influence and shape what comes out of this. Yeah. When Manchin told reporters recently that he didn't want to spend more than $1.5 trillion on Biden's Build Back Better agenda because he didn't want to, quote, change our whole society to an entitlement mentality, it was music to the ears of the GOP colleagues. Yeah, no kidding. Imagine thinking like the concept of, I don't know, 2 years of community college as an entitlement mentality. What entitlement is that? Imagine thinking like childcare taxes to support like folks who have children is an entitlement brings people to an entitlement mentality. Imagine thinking like, imagine going to a senior and saying, you know what, I think dental care for you, I think that we don't want to make sure that you have an entitlement mentality. Imagine telling a senior that your eyeglasses, dental care will bring you to an entitlement mentality. I mean, seriously, imagine telling working parents that, I'm sorry, but you know, pre-K, we don't want you to get this entitlement mentality happening going on over here. We just can't allow that. We just can't allow it. The RNC didn't coordinate an attack against Trump, though. They literally let the primary play out. That's a good point. Yeah, I believe somebody else, I don't know if it was you, Irked, and again, I apologize for my internet being like really bad, or I should say my stream is really bad here, but I don't know if it was you, but somebody here in chat, Irked, said that the actual RNC let out the entire primary play out. There's still people who fought till the very end. Didn't Cruz fight till the very end? So did Kasich. So again, because it's up to the individual to believe that it's up to the individual to believe the propaganda or not. This is not about having. This is about having an educated base. Okay, but I can't. I can't. When you enable people, there's no entitlement going on. Yeah, it's a misnomer, and it's designed. That word is designed to invoke a certain emotion, right? That word is designed to invoke a certain emotion, and of course, you know, the more libertarian types are just frothing at the mouth at the idea, right? This is music to their ears, as the article states. This right here is music to their ears, okay? Because he didn't want to change our whole society to an entitlement mentality. What does that mean? Change the whole society, bro? We've got about like 9 something years to make sure that we move in the direction of addressing climate change. Okay, we've got 9 years to get our collective-ish together to try to move in that direction. The idea that a simple, basic expansion of social safety nets will change our whole society to an entitlement mentality. Do you think that anybody in like, I don't know, in Europe or anywhere that has any type of like socialized medicine, socialized community college, education, housing programs, do you think that gives them a entitlement mentality? So what, do you think that all those people in all of those countries are just sitting there feeling, quote, entitled? At the end of the day, vote. Okay, if that's your argument, cool. Jesus Christ. Entitlement people just want things taxpayer provides for Senator Manchild and thinks that that is an entitlement mentality. Yeah, hey, you know what else is an entitlement mentality? You sitting there collecting a paycheck while having the audacity to tell the plebs that they don't deserve like a basic, that they don't deserve like a basic standard of living. So we're going to stop sending hurricane recovering aid to the entitlement mentality of the U.S. South, right? Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we don't... Hey, folks, you know what? The South, the Gulf Coast, we don't want to make sure... Yeah. While you're hey, listen, this is like too... Yeah, you're right, Chai Bureaucrat. The memes are writing themselves. The guy standing in his yacht is telling the country... The guy hanging out in his yacht is telling the country that we don't want to change our whole society to an entitlement mentality. Right, let's void Manchin's paycheck and cancel his health insurance because we wouldn't want Senator Joe Manchin to have a entitlement mentality. Okay, we wouldn't want Senator Joe Manchin to have a mentality of entitlement, right? We wouldn't want that, right? Yeah, I think he's too dependent on the federal government. You're right, Erkt. You're right. I think Senator Joe Manchin and President Joe Manchin and Kyrsten Sinema, you know what? Screw it. The entirety of the Congress and Senate, we wouldn't want them to develop an entitlement mentality. So you know what? Bootstraps for all, ladies and gentlemen, all Congress members, all senators, get your own damn health insurance, get your own damn protection. You have to pay for your own travel fees. You have to pay for your own housing. You have to pay for everything because we wouldn't want you to develop an entitlement mentality. Privatize the profits, socialize the gains. Privatize the profits, socialize the loss. That's how the American capitalism works. True. I do hope that you all realize that the two senators are merely just a limited hangout to keep us all not focusing on the real issues. The problem isn't two particular senators, but rather the Dems in general. The two are just giving cover. Well, maybe, yeah, like, okay, sure. But right now, the heat is on them, so if you can push them, if you can push them, then either A, things move forward, or B, everything underlying these problems will be exposed. This is where the discussion around voting means change becomes interesting and is contested within the field. You have a government which is technically majority Democratic, but there's still a gridlock. People will say that's because it's the wrong type of Democrats and people should vote for others, but that assumes that this collection of reps are not actually representatives of the nation, which is what the default position should be. True! Amazing. Yeah, they're not representative of the nation, I agree with you. Right now, our, quote, representatives aren't really representing us, are they? I will check back in a month and we'll see. Drew, we'll see. We'll see. Like, that's the whole idea of putting the pressure on the folks who are basically holding things up. If you don't want to play ball, and that kind of gets shown out wide open, that the reality is that deep underneath, it's not just Joe Manchin and deep underneath, it's not just Joe Manchin and Kyrsten Sinema, then all of that will be just blown open for everybody to see then. Because, well, if there's a way to get Joe Manchin or and Kyrsten Sinema on board, and then it fails, well, we have a bigger problem, so to speak. Some of us remember this role when Joe Lieberman. Did Joe Lieberman ever cave to pressure? Yeah, I get what you're saying, but that's the point. If Manchin does happen to cave, if Manchin and Sinema do happen to play ball, and then it still doesn't work, we've got bigger problems, and that will be all blown up wide open for everybody to see. If that's the case, then there will be nothing left. Manchin literally lives in a state where the infrastructure deal would benefit his state the most, but then corporate funding, yeah, the coal industry, the fossil fuel industry got their return of investment, that's for sure. So if representatives are representative of the nation and what it wants, then there's no way you can make them vote other people in. This is what you see right now. I would contend is what America is. It's divided in Congress because it's divided in society. Gridlock is the nation, so this idea of vote your problems away is not going to work. However, pressuring those people in power might work, or at least have a higher chance than voter drives at primaries. I mean, like, I think that there's a lot of pronged attacks that we can that aren't just relegated to, oh yeah, just vote. So many hedges in your statement, ifs and mays. Well, yeah, because, well, we don't know what the outcome of this is yet. This hurts my brain. Same. Why are the Dems letting the IRS track $600 deposits, and why are there not many articles about this? Well, there are a lot of articles about this, but they're on the right. Their point of view is that Joe Biden is going to sneak into your bank accounts and so on and so forth. Yeah, that's what they're saying. Which, to be fair, I don't understand why the IRS needs to go after $600 deposits in the attempt to recuperate or just enforce the laws that are already there. I think we know who has more propensity for breaking tax laws. I think we can take a gander. I think we can take a gander at who is more likely to to break tax law or to try to funnel money in weird ways. Manchin is literally his own party. He just wants to protect the coal-based power plants he makes $500,000 a year on. That's all he cares about. Maybe, yeah. He is beholden to the coal and fossil fuel industry, and he does have a stake in it, so yeah. Unfortunately, that's all we can do, is vote for someone who maybe can fix the issue. We have no say over who sits in the corporate boards. Well, that is true. While that is true that we should vote when we can, in terms we should vote and not cede that tool, I think that there's other strategies that we can also deploy at the same time. And one of them would definitely be a awareness campaign to try to make sure that people are aware and people are educated, so on and so forth. Essentially on the ground movements. I don't think America should put their heads in the sand and pretend the political system is an anomaly. It's more likely to be a consequence of where the nation is just now. Generations are defining politics more than any other time before, and we see it on the streets in council, states, and Congress. I think in many ways, Americans, and not just them and other democratic democracies too, look at politics from the wrong angle. Voting is the least effective tool in activist bag. Activism is far more important than voting. I think that, like, at the end of the day, showing up does matter. But I'm also not going to discount the idea that we need to also develop strategies when it comes to getting people aware, bringing communities together, organizing, so on and so forth. You do realize that senators get their salary even after they leave the Senate? Jesus Christ. You know, I think that senators, congresspeople, I think that they shouldn't be allowed to have a salary after the fact, because we wouldn't want them to develop an entitlement mentality. I think that no senator and no congressperson should be receiving a salary at the taxpayer's expense after the fact, because we wouldn't want them to develop an entitlement mentality. I agree, Irked. Yeah, sure. There's nothing wrong with that. Lobbying Congress, strikes, direct action are necessary to make gains for the working class. Yeah, sure, absolutely. How do you think we bring awareness to some of these issues? I believe that from now on, my position will be no senator, no congressperson, no president, no elected official that's at the federal level should have any type of goodies that's at the expense of the taxpayers. Should have absolutely no paid expenses. Bootstraps. Bootstraps, you gotta count. You gotta make sure you have the money to make sure you pay for your travels or whatever. Nothing at the expense of the taxpayer, because we wouldn't want you to develop an entitlement mentality. Okay. And after you're done with your public service, no more salary for you, because we wouldn't want you to develop an entitlement mentality. The other issues are representatives and senators work 3 other jobs and constant job offers and are allowed not to read bills and hide vote positions. Yeah, maybe. But then we should say, what other jobs do you have? You're being paid, a 6-figure salary to be a public servant? I'd go the other way. They're going to get that money from donors. So your argument is basically, if we take all of that away, then they'll be more open to bribery. Yeah, well, the simple way to explain it is everyone has a vote in the nation, the rich, poor, in the middle. Voting to define policy. Then why is policy output so unequal when the poor have way more numbers? When the poor have way... that's, of course, very generalized way of explaining it, but it's the beginning of the journey. Yeah, I get you. I'd pay them more, not as easy to buy, but who knows? That's an interesting concept. I'm just, like, really triggered by the idea that anybody would have this type of framing in their head when it comes to, like, the most milquetoast, the most basic attempt to put something good on the board. The most basic attempt to put something good on the board, and your reaction to this is that you wouldn't want to change our whole society, which I don't even know what that means. Our whole society is going to change? What? To an entitlement mentality? Because what? People get like 2 years of college? This is like out of touch, delusional, and clearly an entitled take. It's someone who is clearly quite entitled in their yacht is making this statement. Out of touch. Out of touch. True. If you pay people in power more, they're just going to try to get even more money. They're elected officials in pro-business systems. Their goal is always to get more money. Maybe. Yeah, I guess. I mean, like, I think the solution would be just to seriously limit, curtail, regulate, or outright stop, or limit lobbying, really. That's really just cut it off at the root of the problem, right? I can't believe how many outrageous bills get introduced that don't make it to the floor. Anyways. Let's try to get through this, folks. I'm sorry, like, this kind of attitude with the basic modicum of trying to improve this country, to call it an entitlement mentality is just absolutely asinine, unbelievable to me. Thune said both Manchin and Sinema are playing an incredibly constructive role in trying to make the country stronger, not weaker. Yeah, okay. Progressives see Manchin and Sinema as stubborn opponents and disloyal to their party and president. Senator Bernie Sanders says Democrats need to spend a minimum of $3.5 trillion on expanded Medicare benefits, expanded child care, and fighting climate change. Manchin said is not helping his constituents. You should go to West Virginia and ask working families whether they think it's a good idea that older people, West Virginia is an older state, have teeth in their mouths, having hearing aids, having eyeglasses. Yeah, exactly. You go. I want President Joe Manchin. I want President Joe Manchin to go out there. To go out there to seniors and to look them in the face and say, I don't know, I don't know if you guys deserve an expansion in Medicare to make sure dental, which is incredibly important when it comes to healthcare and when it comes to preventative healthcare, to seniors, tell them, look them in the face and be like, I don't know, hearing aids, eyeglasses. I just wouldn't want you to get into this entitlement mentality. Go ahead, tell them. Clearly that's what you feel. Clearly that's what you feel. Why don't you tell them? Why don't you tell your constituents what you feel? Yeah. Yeah, James. No kidding. True. Yeah, it turns out that the reason why of course, there's like a whole bunch of other factors that that happened, but one of the big factors that got people out to vote was the idea of a government that attempted to serve the people. One of the biggest reasons why people got out there, in terms of like the senatorial races, was the concept of people, of government that maybe, just maybe, would attempt to fix some of these problems. I think there's a real danger of letting down a lot of young people who once put their faith in the system and they got strung. They may not come back. Yeah, James. No kidding. Have a night chat. For the folks that are here, How many times have I said, how are you supposed to tell these people to get out there and vote again? How are you supposed to tell these people to get out there and vote for you again? Tina2 coming in hot with a tier 1 subscription, 2 months. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you so much, Tina. Welcome. I'm glad you're hanging out here in my leftist stream who keeps crashing. But that's okay. You know what? It's all good. Crashing. Can everybody do me a massive favor? Go to twitch.tv/Tina_2 and go give them a follow and go check them out. Please. Do me that massive favor. Okay? Do me that massive favor and go to twitch.tv/Tina_2. Hit that follow button and support them. They do fantastic and funny content. I hang out there a lot. It's the most common thing people cite when they are asked why they don't vote. They don't feel like it matters. Yes, exactly. Apathy and disinterest are the two things that stop people from turning up to the voting booth. I agree. And Cinema and Mansion pulled a fast one and now we're stuck. Yeah, we need to fix that. We need to get that, we need to solve that and get our collective ish together and deliver for the American people. Because, like, the reality is, as James just pointed out, how are you supposed to tell these folks to come out and vote for you again when you just literally told them that you were going to do everything in your power to make things better, and then you don't? And then you make excuses as to why that didn't happen, and what we're supposed to just look at it and say like, oh yeah, we're gonna get out there because this time they're gonna help us. It's really getting to that point, and like, what's scary about that is because, well, you know who's making really good rounds within their base, and you know who's making really fast gains within their base? I'll tell you who. The America First faction of the GOP. The America First faction, the America QAnon kind of folks. They're making strides within the GOP, okay? And they're absorbing more and more ground. And should the Democratic Party fail to deliver, but isn't that just perfect for corporate politicians that people lost faith in voting? Maybe, but the flip side of that is that it's all gonna come, all of that is gonna come back to roost. All those chickens, all those times for kicking down the problems, for continuously kicking down the road, the can down the road, all these chickens are starting to come home to roost. Everybody turns into the party of no when they're in office. Then when they're out, they all sell their perfect utopia to people, but only if they're back in power. I mean, it's starting to look just like that. However, I'm not quite sold on that, but it does seem to me like, oh man, Jesus. Well, the excuses thing has a whole new dynamic because let's say it's 50-50, it's say 50% believe you and 50 don't. Half of your people won't turn up as They didn't believe your excuse, and the other half are just going to fall into the partisan trap of always blaming other side for every problem, which is another completely toxic issue that causes gridlock. Yeah, sure. Yeah, sure. The QAnon folk are willing to write and vote legislation based on conspiracy theories, and that's scary. Yeah, and they're gaining grounds within the GOP. So that concept or that faction of the GOP is gaining ground. Okay? Is gaining ground. And you know what? That is going to be the choice in 2022. Do you want more of do you want to allow the kind of like QAnon / like America First kind of crowd to start gaining more seats, like legitimate seats in Congress? Or do you want to continue to perpetuate these kind of like circular, like milquetoast kind of do nothing government, right? Which is also unacceptable. So, but one is clearly worse, I would argue. One is clearly worse, I would argue. But I'm saying that these are the choices that were being presented, and very healthy democracy, very good, very, very, very functional system, very, very good, very healthy. Quote, as working families, whether or not he's a hero when people are paying 20 to 25% of their income for childcare, ask people if he's a hero in terms of not moving aggressively to address what the scientist is telling us is an existential threat to the planet. Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell told Republican colleagues at a meeting last week that one of the reasons why he agreed to deal with Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer on a short-term limit increase was because he feared that Manchin and Sinema would be undergoing pressure from fellow Democrats to weaken the filibusters to stave off a credit crisis. McConnell also reached out to share his plan to solve the debt standoff with Manchin and Sinema before unveiling it publicly, according to a Senate GOP aide. Manchin, asked by the reporters last week, denied that he knew details of McConnell's proposed 2-month debt limit extension ahead of its public release. Lisa Murkowski, an important GOP swing vote race. Okay, this is a meme. Almost 99% of the time, they vote with the GOP. Yeah, no kidding, Taru. Yeah, no kidding. That's not exactly a acceptable choice. It's really effed, isn't it? It's really effed. That's the danger of inaction of the Democrats, isn't it? Momentum. We talked earlier about what impacts electoral success. The biggest ones are who's in power and how do the people see the country and economy going under that term. If the answer is Democrat and not going good, then it's almost guaranteed they will lose substantially. Yeah, and guess what? It ain't looking good, folks. It ain't looking good. And you know things are effed, and you know that the reality of how effed Sinema and Manchin are making things. Ted Cruz said, quote, "I'm glad there is at least a couple of Democrats in the Senate conference who are not willing to blindly sign on to Bernie Sanders' socialist budget. Socialist budget." Can somebody in chat explain to me, or point me out? I mean, I may be living in an alternate reality, but can somebody in chat point me out to it? What exactly is what exactly is socialist again about the Build Back Better plan? Can somebody point that out to me? Where are the explicit calls for the workers obtaining the means of production or anything like that? Can somebody tell me where exactly in? First of all, I don't think this is just Bernie Sanders' budget. I guess he's just calling it Bernie Sanders socialist budget because he's the head of the budget committee, I think. But take that aside. Can somebody point me to where exactly this is socialist in any way, shape, or form? I mean, maybe I'm living in an alternate reality. Maybe Ted Cruz is. Maybe I'm living in an alternate reality. Can somebody point me to where in the Build Back Better plan is this hidden socialist plot? How did those socialist plane tickets to Cancun cost? True. Anyways. I'm glad to see Joe and Kirsten standing up to the radical left. They're demonstrating some real courage because the hard left is pounding them. Yeah, it turns out that the basic modicum of change is considered radical nowadays. I mean, explain to me, and I mean this just as a obvious rhetorical question, but explain to me how improving Medicare for seniors is like a radical left idea. And furthermore, if that's what you consider the radical left, what does that say about you? Explain to me how improving, revamping, and putting our infrastructure system in an attempt to propel our country to the future is some type of radical left agenda. And if it is, what does that say about you? If expanding childcare tax credits, if providing maternity leave, if expanding education or pre-K and 2 years of college, if that is your idea of the radical left, what does that say about you? They think Biden is a commie and we should just elect a democratic socialist and they might be closer to reality. Being pounded hard by the hard left is a fantasy of mine. Guys, I build my own roads and daycare every morning by my own bootstraps with no help, none whatsoever. Same. I too get out there every morning and make sure that I travel on only roads that I built by myself. I mean, like, this is asinine. It's in the It's in the anarcho-Bidenist chapter of the Communist Manifesto. True. Sorry, I didn't read that part. Maybe I should have maybe I should have turned to the other section of the page that I missed. Yes, I too pay for my own private police and fire department myself. Nice, very good. I'm glad to see them demonstrating the strength of characters to say this is not what the people of West Virginia want. This is not what the people of Arizona want. Oh, Ted, have you gone to West Virginia or Arizona? Senate Republicans are framing their messaging strategy around concerns that Manchin has expressed about rising inflation, which would have nothing to do with this. The global competitiveness of U.S. companies. What? How does that even make sense? You're With the Build Back Better plan, if you stimulate the economy, that would be better for US companies, not worse. The future of fossil fuels, okay, who cares? And the lack of bipartisanship behind the $3.5 trillion budget reconciliation proposal. Yeah, the bipartisan thing is a meme. We can discard that one out. Yeah, the future of fossil fuels. Hey guys, should we have concerns back in whenever as to the candle makers who would go out of business because the light bulb was invented? Should we have concerns about how the machinery that industrialized and made some of these things, and made some of these, I guess, achievements possible? I guess we should just... I guess none of those should have happened, because we would need to consider the businesses of the horse and carriage. We need to consider the businesses of candle makers, because they don't exist today. There's no reason why we should ever try to move forward. There's no reason why we should ever try to be innovative whatsoever. And furthermore, I thought we had some great American exceptionalism. I thought we were supposed to be innovative. I thought this system was supposed to innovate. That's really weird. That's really weird. Republicans have seized on Manchin's worries about inflation and made it a regular talking point, even though experts such as the Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell said that higher than average inflation is temporarily likely to ease by next year. It seems like the most likely cause, among other factors, but most likely cause for inflation is the supply chain that's still recovering from a very, very functioning, very healthy, very good, very efficient system. Politics has no nuance now. Yeah, I agree with that. Cruz and other Republicans say that they agree more with Manchin, who has pointed to rising prices at the Dollar General stores in West Virginia as a major problem. Manchin's comments are also helpful for Republicans who are refusing to raise prices to attack Biden. I think he's absolutely right. We're seeing an inflation bomb go off across the country. Hardworking Americans are seeing the cost of just about everything go up. We're seeing the cost of gasoline go up, the cost of food. Why? No, like none of these folks have like decided to ask themselves why. Anyways, nice meme. Cool, very functional, very good, very democratic system. It's working, guys. It's working. It's good. It's okay. Very good, very functioning. This is all because we don't have the gold standard. Future child tax credit may be foggy, but its benefits are growing clearer. What? No way. People like that don't have to like rely like on paycheck to paycheck, and they get like a modicum of relief. Have like clearly shown benefits. No way. Wow. More than a year after the pandemic took his job working in a Maryland warehouse outside Washington and put his family plans to buy a home on hold, things are looking up for Warren Copeland. He found another job working... What? Do you mean that, like, when people get, like, unemployment or get a leg up, they just, like... They just... What? They just, like, get back to work? No way! It's almost like... It's almost like people... don't necessarily have a problem with working. Wow! Copeland, 59, and his wife closed on their first house after saving for years, and for the first time they don't feel like living paycheck to paycheck. It's a huge change for a father with one child in college and four at home who are on the autism spectrum. Copeland credits the expanded child tax credit via the American Rescue Plan as making the difference. I was able to take the kids on a trip to the beach for a couple days because we hadn't gone anywhere since the pandemic, but a lot of it has gone to clothes for them, housing bills, and just about everything else in our budget. Said Copeland, who noted the cost of his children's autism therapies. Despite concerns that these payments cost taxpayer dollars to go to waste or discourage people from seeking or returning to work, early data returns appear to show that the extra monthly income has gone to support the immediate needs of the American family budgets like Copeland's and have little effect on the labor market thus far. No way. No freaking way, guys. Wow. Breaking news. It turns out that when people have like basic modicum of necessities, they're able to live and able to support themselves, then they also happen to be contributing to society. No way, no way, guys. You mean that this dude just didn't sit there and collect the government help and just sat there doing nothing? No way. Do you mean that like people aren't just lazy? Like these conservative types or libertarian types think that just because you get a little bit of help, a little bit of a leg up, that you're just gonna stay there? No way. This is breaking news, guys. Oh yeah, I bet, Taru. Thank you for the follow, by the way. How ironic is there's Amazon ads in the middle of this? Probably. It turns out when in a consumerist system that we have set up right now, it turns out having money in pockets of people, it turns out that that's kind of what you need to keep the system going, and it's kind of like very, very, very stimulating to the economy. Critics maintain, though, however, the changes to the tax credits could create fiscal and economic administrative hardships in the long term if made permanent. Clearly, they're actually doing more good than harm. The child tax credit changed in 3 essential ways. This year by the American Rescue Plan, the amount grew from 2,000 to as much as 3,600. Recipients could sign up to obtain the money monthly rather than annually, and it became fully refundable, which made it even the lowest income Americans eligible, which is huge. Monthly payments is a significant change, with the first installment hitting bank accounts July 15th and at the same point each month after. Families receive $300 per child under 6, $250 per child 6 to 17, and the next payment goes out Friday. Well, yeah, tomorrow. Of the historic expansions, historic expansions of the American social safety net created during the pandemic. This is one Democrats hope to cement in President Joe Biden's social spending bill. Jesus Christ. This triggers me. Everything that the government does, I hate this framing. Everything the government does is technically a social spending bill. Okay? How do you think we pay for it? How do you think we pay for it? Society pays for it because it benefits society. Jesus Christ. I hate this framing. The military budget is a social spending line item. Just saying. As long as we're keeping it honest, the military is also a social spending line item. For at least 5 more years amid political gridlock, there are concerns over legislature's future for the Democratic majority if they fail to pass it. I'm not sure the current political environment would support sending 2,000 to 3,000 checks every person every year, but I do think that there is political will behind providing more benefits to families raising kids, especially when we saw how hard it is when you have to be home with the kids and homeschooling when that was necessary. Yeah, no kidding. As of now, this benefit program does end in December despite huge popularity, and the appearance of real need. Yeah. No kidding. Do you know what that tells me? And hear me out, this may just be another radical left idea that I have. Hear me out. Maybe wages aren't keeping up with cost of living. And this is why, at this point, then the government has to say, all right, well, we gotta stabilize this somehow. Wild. I know this might be like a just another radical left, radical wild idea that I might have in my head. But maybe one of the reasons why this is even necessary in the first place is because wages aren't keeping up with the cost of living. I know. It's just a little thought of mine. In the week after the first monthly payment in July, found that 29% of households use the extra cash for food, which stimulates the economy, clothing, which stimulates the economy, utilities, which stimulates the economy, school supplies, which stimulates the economy, books, which stimulates the economy, tuition, which stimulates the economy, rent, which... mortgage, which stimulates the economy, an additional 10% put it towards vehicle payments, household debt, or savings. Hey, awesome, cool. The first group of households spending on food and clothing grew to more than 35% in the most recent survey, and those putting it towards debt or savings remained steady at 10%. So more people, almost what, a 6% increase, are using it on basic necessities that are needed. It turns out people need food. I know. Turns out people need clothing. This money, experts say, has added a buffer to family budgets each month, providing low-income parents and children an opportunity to plan their finances and their future. So I thought something that I thought that was like important to conservatives. I thought. And these payments have given parents a sense of financial security and relief. A law professor and economist at Stanford University said Jacob Golden, a law professor and economist at Stanford University, who helped organize a letter to Congress signed by more than 460 economists advocating for making the benefit permanent. There's real reason to believe that this assistance will translate to higher social and economic mobility, make it easier to find jobs because then you're not pressured to just settle for any job because you got to put food on the table for the kids. Yeah, for the parents as well as for the children down the road. True. Concerns about the cost of the benefit have led Republicans to stonewall making the expansion permanent, of course. And like, mind you, these are the same people who are like pro-life, save the babies or something, but also F them kids. Republicans simultaneously live in two alternate realities at the same time. They will say, oh yeah, I'm pro-life, save the children, pro-life, I love, don't you dare murder of babies. Also, on the same breath, F them kids. Social Security checks will increase 5.9%. Nice. It's about time. Concerns over the cost, of the benefits have led Republicans to stonewall making the expansion permanent, and debate among centrists among conservative Democrats. The Tax Foundation, a right-wing think tank, estimates that doing so would cause the federal revenue to drop $1.62 trillion from 2022 to 2031. Okay. Erica York, an economist at the Tax Foundation, said Congress needs to address the fiscal concerns before making its measurement. Before it makes the measure permanent. She also noted that the tax credit would discourage work and burden the IRS by having to provide a benefit through tax code. No. This person should probably get a refund on the degree, because that's not how this works. You receiving an extra like couple $100 a month is not enough to disincentivize you from going to work. I'm sorry. You absolute clown. Actually, Steak, how's it going? Howdy howdy. Extending this long term is going to be very costly, and it would crowd out other things that lawmakers want to spend on. Like what? The military? It probably means eventually we're going to have to think about broader tax increases rather than what's on the table right now. And if we... Oh, here's the meme. How are we going to pay for it, meme? Hey, cool. Cool. I've got a suggestion. There's a line item on the budget that's about 700 and something billion dollars. away the cost. Yeah. Yeah. No shit. There's also concern that even a few $100s a month could provide enough financial stability. Oh my god, guys, listen to this framing. There's also concern that even a few $100s a month could provide enough financial stability to discourage potential workers from entering or re-entering the labor market. In other words, an extra couple of $100 a month would may be just enough incentive to hold out, so that people like either A, get better benefits to return to work, or B, just find other jobs that don't pay shit wages and don't have like shit working conditions. My voice is like a robot. What? Let's see. Am I a cyber person? What? I hear it. It's really weird. Audio's bad, but also my stream keeps dying. Yeah. Hello. That's really weird, because it's not showing up on my end. I really think it's Twitch having a bad morning. Plus my internet, plus my updates, plus everything. Today's just not a good morning. Sorry about that, guys. We'll just finish this really quick, so bear with my robot voice for just a couple of seconds. And we'll get through this. Anyways, the framing of this is incredibly frustrating. Could discourage potential workers from entering or re-entering the labor market. This has created a degree of economic agitation as the country faces a labor shortage affecting a number of industries that have relied. There we are, and there's the key on low-income workers. There it is, folks. That's the game. There it is. It turns out people are tired of getting paid like shit. God, this is so creepy. Anyways, that right here is the TLDR. Anyway, folks, I should get going just to make sure everything is good, restart the system, get all the updates done, and try to fix any potential problems for Saturday. So again, sorry about all the technical difficulties. Thank you for those who made it. I appreciate all of you guys for your support. Thank you, Tina, for the subscription. Thank you, Alio, for the biddies. All the new follows, I appreciate that. And again, I apologize. Promise. This is the exception, not the norm. Alio with another 10 biddies. This is the exception, not the norm. So I do appreciate you guys hanging out here. As always, make sure you hit the follow button. Join us. Make sure you hit the follow button. Join us here Monday through Thursday, 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time. And join us for Saturday Catterdays about noon Eastern Time. We have a more leisure-like program. As always, please stay safe. Oh yes, and before I go, make sure you join the Discord. Make sure you do all the social medias again. Join the YouTubes, like, comment, share, subscribe, do all the awesome stuff. As always, please stay safe. Please take care of each other. I love you all, and I hope to see you guys in the next one. See ya! Jeez, these technical difficulties today, folks. Man. But we powered through it. Sorry about all that. Let's head on over to Ben's channel. Right? Yeah. Yeah, let's head on over to Ben's. Hang tight, folks. Alright, folks, we're heading out in